Dear Journal, as usual, there's been a lot happening today. It's eventful and not eventful at the same time, in the sense there was no explosions, there was no, huge arguments between gods on my doorstep or anything like that. But it was still eventful nonetheless. I think I'll get the part that's quickest to tell out of the way. Let me just draw a picture here. This is what I worked on in Thaumcraft today. I learned how to make the alchemical furnace, the arcane alembics, and in order to do that I did do some work in the research table, which I did a little bit on my own, and my teacher Spiropulse helped me with a little bit, and other bits of it I just kind of bumbled through and wasted some aspects researching, but I did okay. I did okay considering I'm pretty new at it. Alright, well, the next thing that I want to talk about is that I did have a chat with Kael. Yes, we went to his outer lands, which I think is the Void, but I'm not 100% certain. And I put on my second best armor for that, and took my second best everything, and left this stuff behind, because I wasn't sure what he was going to do. But basically, he was actually pretty mellow for Kael. I mean, Kael is usually, we're cautiously amiable. But he can lose his temper, and I figured since we were talking about things that he felt that I misled him on, that he might be a little volatile, but he wasn't. He was actually pretty calm. So basically I explained to him why I had told him that Ian was not my brother, and then the next time he saw me I was calling Ian Daniel and saying, yes, he is my brother. So I explained to him that between that time period I talked to Ian to ask him why he was using my last name, and basically questioned him about a lot of things that happened in Daniel's childhood, and he passed the test. He is my brother. I use Ian for the part that has been corrupted by Astharus, and the part that is still Daniel, and which I'm trying to bring back, to get rid of Ian out of my brother, to recover him, to redeem him like Atera said as possible, but he has to fight. And so I'm doing everything I can to help him. And I told Kael that, because I also pointed out to Kael that, as I had told him already, when I went to the future, I saw his grave. He was dead, again, in the future, and he has now come to accept that he died to come here, or to be brought here in the first place. We were rescued from death and brought to this place. So he actually is able to accept the fact, at least it appears that he accepted the fact, that he is actually able to die, which is something he was very unwilling to even look at before. So waiting a little bit before talking to him seems to have worked in my favor. So I talked to him about it and pointed out that, and he said, well, how did I get killed? And I said, well, if that portal is completed, Ian becomes very strong, and he kills you. And then he said, oh, well, I'm going to have to do something with Ian then. And I convinced him not to let me talk to Daniel first. I explained to him that I'm trying to help him become himself again, and he agreed to let me talk to him before he took any action. So that means I do need to talk to Kael again, and he is willing to wait. So I did talk to Daniel again. And I talked to him about, he is very childlike right now, which in all honesty, it could be a symptom of insanity. But on the other hand, if he was Ian and fooling me, or trying to fool me, maybe he is fooling me, I don't know. if he had gone insane from taint, wouldn't he be doing evil, insane things instead of good, insane things? Like, give me, well, it's kind of a bizarre present, but, you know, bearing in mind he's a 400-year-old vampire who's been in the process of being corrupted by Astharus, and I'm putting pressure on his mental status by trying to resurrect the part of him that is good, my brother Daniel. So yes, it's a strange present. A giant tentacle is a very strange present. But it's a tentacle that kills zombies and skeletons. It kills, quote, bad guys. I can't really see Ian doing that if he were insane, and since he's evil. So, anyway, I talked to Daniel. He said that he didn't want to create. Okay, let's figure that. I learned so much today that it's a little hard to get it into place. Actually, let's go to Atera's altar room. I guess technically it might be called a temple, but I mean it's one room. All right. Well, okay. Daniel said that he doesn't know the next step that he needs to do for the portal, so it's where it is now. He can't go forward. He also said that he doesn't know how to close it, which is what I told Kael I was going to try to get him to do. So I'm going to have to explain to Kael that I can't, or that it's not going to be closed. We have to watch for it to grow in power. But something I also learned from Damnatio is that the taint around his castle, Ian's castle, if it grows, that means it can be taken as a sign of evil, like evil will make it grow, I think, if I understood correctly. So if Ian is residing there and it's Ian trying to fool me, or if Ian wins out over Daniel, then the taint will grow. Whether or not the portal grows, the taint will grow. So I'm going to tell Kael that as, you know, something that we can watch for. But Daniel said that he wanted to still work on the portal, but he wanted to make it something that would help me. Which is, if I really am talking to Daniel, which I want to believe that I am, and but you know, I think it's him. I really do. But I'm a big sister, and I might be seeing what I want. In any case, this portal, I told him reasons in childish terms, because that's the way he's operating right now, is on a childish Daniel level, that there were reasons I didn't want him to have grow the portal anymore. That even if it would help me, I was afraid that it was making him sicker. That, like, making Ian stronger. That I was afraid Kael would try to hurt him, because Kael doesn't want the portal open either. And there was a third reason. Those were the two most important ones to me. If I remember the third one, I'll tell you. But basically, I used every argument I could, in childish terms, to convince him not to grow the portal anymore. But then he told me, I gave him a present of 2 horses for breeding purposes, so he could feed his tentacles. That was my gift to him. So he actually started a farm with that. So that's awesome. But I learned that later. So he did. I asked him directly, will you wait on growing the portal? You know, and he didn't answer. And then we started talking about the fact that he wanted a silverfish. And could I get him a silverfish? So I said, all right, I'll get you a silverfish. But it might take me a little while to find it. And could you wait on the, how did I put it? Can you wait to work anymore on the project that's to help me until after I find the silverfish. And he said, sure. So I'm hoping that because he can't talk directly, because Astharus listens to him, he's his seer, and so he listens to him all the time. So I'm hoping that was his way, because he talked to me in coded ways before. I know for a fact, because that's how I got the statue. I'm hoping that that's what it means, what I think it means. So, tentatively, I have Daniel waiting. Kael doesn't want the portal open because, for his own reasons, he's going to kill. He's going to kill him if it's opened and Ian becomes that strong. And then, I haven't talked to William yet, but he was already kind of had my point of view already, so that's not too bad. Then I talked to Damnatio a bit more after... Oh wait, I'm missing part of it. Okay, earlier when I talked to Damnatio, I was asking him, like, this was after I talked to Kael and after I talked to Daniel about the portal, and Damnatio came by, and I asked him about whether Kael was correct that he and Astharus couldn't go to Kael's outer lands, which I think is the void. And he said, he told me some things that I'm not allowed to repeat. And actually, maybe I shouldn't write this in my journal. I mean, I have no guarantee. Okay, I'm not going to write this in my journal, but my spirits who have been watching, I'm sure what he told me will be highlighted in their minds, and they'll be able to go back and look at that, so... Yeah. Alright, I'm not gonna... All I'll say is that what he told me confirmed that Astharus cannot go to where Kael is. And nor can Damnatio. So if Kael puts Ian in the void, which is where I think he's going to put him, like I think he is going to, that in the end we might have to do that if Ian wins out. But what I'm afraid of is that he will put Daniel there. And I'm going to try to do what I can to get him to wait, because I said that I was going to try to get him to close the portal, and he can't close the portal. So I'm hoping he'll wait and look for the signs that Ian is winning out like I'm going to. But I can't guarantee that's going to happen. So if Damnatio is not sure that Kael can do what he thinks he can in any case. But I did warn Daniel that I would try to talk to Kael, but that he knows that Kael doesn't want the portal there, so. There's so many things I worry about that it just... Okay, anyway. When Damnatio actually went and talked to Daniel, because I wanted his opinion on, whether it was Ian fooling me or whether it really was Daniel like I thought and hoped. And in the process of that, I was there for a little bit, but then I went away because Damnatio was trying to convince Daniel to tell him where the portal was supposed to go. Because Damnatio suspected, but he doesn't know. Or he didn't know. But Ian apparently knows. And so therefore Daniel knows. So I left them talking, and I went away, ostensibly to look for a silverfish for Daniel. And I was hitting things looking for it, but pretty sure there's no silverfish around here. But I did look a bit. I can say with honesty, I have done some looking. But he did get Daniel to tell him where it went. And when Damnatio talked to me after Daniel had to go, he said he could probably kind of tell me where it was, and I told him that I didn't really want to know, because if it didn't change my current tasks that I'm working on, which Atera has given me, then there's no point in telling me, especially if it would change something about how I deal with Daniel, because even Damnatio thought that if Daniel thought he had told me, that he would snap and Ian would win. And Damnatio hasn't told me. I still don't know where it goes. But, and I'm, again, all the fine shades of gray. I hope I've done the right thing. I think I have. I managed to convince Damnatio to give me something to tell Atera that would, if she didn't know where it went, and I don't think she does, or didn't, to give me something to tell her that would tell her where it went, that would help her guide me in my subsequent tasks that I need to do for her. So, in other words, I didn't want to be told where it went, and I'm not going to think too much about what he told me, because he said I could probably figure it out. So I'm going to do my best to worry about other things. There's plenty of other things to worry about. My brother, not being corrupted and destroyed, for one thing. Okay, so what he told me to tell her was, if she, Atera, values her life and yours, meaning me, she'll figure it out, where the portal goes. And then he said, from where the sight of the impure met the hidden gaze of eternal sadness. And so when I told Atera everything that had happened today, about Kael, about talking to Daniel, about talking to Damnatio, and what he'd said, she said, oh no. And she said that she had to go right away and talk to the entities, to confer with the entities. So that's where it's at. I was hoping to talk to Damnatio again before I wrote this journal entry, because I wanted to tell him that she got the message. She understood the message, but he said he knows she'll understand the message, so maybe I didn't really need to talk to him. I guess I just wanted to talk to him. But, so that's it. That's the status. I think I've done what I've been asked. I think I've convinced the followers of Astharus that his plan is a bad plan, i.e. opening the portal. Because, well, Kael wants it shut now for his own reasons, for his own personal survival. Daniel, if I'm not being misled, is going to wait until I find him a silverfish. And he does agree that it's, or like I said, if I'm not being misled, he does agree that it's a bad plan because he wants to make it into something that can help me. So that, by default, says that he doesn't think Astharus' plan is good anymore. And so I think I've done what I was asked to do. And I just have to wait to try to talk to Atera. I have to give her some time to, I don't know how long a god needs to talk to the ones that are above them, in the hierarchy, I guess. But I guess all I can do now is sleep on it. And tomorrow I will try to talk to Kael. And keep praying that my brother Daniel really is there, that I am seeing what I think I'm seeing, and that I can, through what I'm doing, help bring him back to himself. I think I need to rest. I'm going to end the journal entry here. Spirits, as always, thank you very much. You have helped me so much, and I know you will continue to do that. But I still want to thank you. Good night.